It was supposed to be a simple, staged event, a polished public engagement filled with smiles, polite laughter, and a photo opportunity meant to showcase warmth, care, and connection. Instead, it became a moment so painfully symbolic that it will be remembered not for what was planned, but for what was revealed. A striking image of children left to soak in the pouring rain, while adults, including Kate, stood comfortably shielded under umbrellas. The sight of those small, innocent figures drenched while the future queen consort gripped her umbrella tightly, smiling only for the cameras, has shaken many who once believed in the image of compassion carefully built around her. This scene, one woman dry beneath a large umbrella while the children at her feet clapped and tried to stay cheerful despite the sheets of rain pouring down on them, is more than just unfortunate optics. To many, it has become a damning metaphor for privilege, selfishness, and detachment. In that small moment, captured in images and video now widely shared online, everything people have long suspected about Kate and her true nature seemed confirmed. And the reaction has been visceral. Heartbreak for the children, outrage at the indifference, and disbelief that no adult thought to hand over an umbrella to shield the smallest and most vulnerable. The rain fell hard that day, streaking down the umbrellas like nature itself was trying to expose the hypocrisy of the performance. The adults huddled under cover, carefully ensuring their own comfort, their own dryness, while the children, brought out specifically to add colour, charm, and a sense of innocence to the event, were left unprotected. Their little uniforms clung to their skin, their hair plastered to their heads, their hands raised not in joy, but in a futile attempt to shield themselves from the downpour. These children were not participants. They were props. They were there to smile, to wave, to fill the frame of the cameras with life and purity, and then discarded, left to suffer in conditions no adult would tolerate for themselves. Kate, standing at the centre of it all, appeared utterly unbothered. She held her umbrella firmly above her head, its wide canopy ensuring she stayed dry. She did not lower it to cover a child. She did not lean in to offer even partial protection. She did not, in an act of selfless symbolism, step into the rain herself and extend her umbrella outward to shield the little ones. Instead, she smiled, she looked around, and she carried on, as though the cries of raindrops pounding down on small shoulders were inaudible. The image was devastating. For some, it was enraging. For others, it was confirmation of everything they had long feared about her character. Why does this matter so much? Because moments like these cut through carefully constructed royal PR and show the truth in its rawest form. Anyone can rehearse a speech. Anyone can wear designer clothes meant to send a message. Anyone can stand before a charity logo and smile for the cameras. But kindness, real, instinctive kindness, cannot be faked when the rain begins to fall. Instinct is what reveals character. And Kate's instinct, when the heavens opened and the children were exposed, was not to protect them. It was to protect herself. That instinct speaks volumes. What is royalty if not supposed to be the embodiment of service, of duty, of care for the people, especially children, the most defenseless among us? The monarchy sells itself as an institution of compassion and stability. Its members spend millions curating an image of selfless dedication. And yet, when confronted with a situation requiring no grand gestures, no speeches, no elaborate planning, only a simple act of sharing an umbrella, Kate failed. The tragedy of that moment is that it could have been iconic. Imagine if she had extended her umbrella toward the children, allowing herself to be soaked as she shielded them. Imagine the headlines: Kate protects children from the rain in touching act of kindness. Imagine the viral clips, the outpouring of praise, the reinforcement of her image as a loving maternal figure. That single gesture could have generated more goodwill than 100 staged appearances, but she did not. She clung to her umbrella, choosing dryness over decency. And now, instead of admiration, she faces disgust. Social media has erupted in anger. Parents expressed fury that their children would be treated as mere props, forced to endure harsh weather for the sake of royal optics. "These poor babies," wrote one commentator, "brought out to be used as props, then left to drench in the rain while the adults cover themselves with umbrellas. Very sad." Another, more direct in their condemnation, declared, "I swear to God, I cannot believe that none of them gave up their umbrellas for the kids. It would have been so iconic, but then we're talking about too selfish, too racist." These words cut through the polished PR defences of the palace and highlight a deeper truth. People are not fooled anymore. The mask is slipping. What makes this worse is the symbolism of the umbrella itself. An umbrella is not just a tool against rain. It is a symbol of protection. To withhold it from a child while keeping it for oneself is to demonstrate, however subtly, that your comfort matters more than their safety. The image of Kate standing dry while children shivered beneath raindrops is a metaphor too stark to ignore. Privilege shields itself, while the vulnerable are left exposed. The optics could not be more damning if they were scripted by her harshest critics. And it wasn't just Kate. None of the adults in the scene thought to give up their umbrellas for the children. Each clung to their own shelter, leaving the smallest and weakest to endure. It was selfishness laid bare, a collective moral failure. But the focus inevitably falls on Kate because she is the one meant to embody care, maternal instinct and leadership. She is the one the cameras follow. She is the one who could have changed the narrative with a single selfless act. Her failure is therefore the most glaring. Critics argue this is not an isolated incident. Time and again, Kate has been accused of prioritizing image over substance, of smiling for cameras while lacking true empathy. Her defenders insist she is warm and kind behind the scenes, but the public does not see behind the scenes. They see moments like this, and in those moments, the truth is revealed. The rain strips away the illusion, leaving nothing but the reality of her choices. There is something profoundly sad about watching children try to play and laugh, while water soaks through their clothes and drips down their faces, all because adults wanted them to be part of a photo opportunity. These children deserved protection. They deserved care. They deserved the same respect the adults gave themselves. Instead, they were treated as expendable. The palace may try to spin this, to downplay it as just a bit of rain, but the symbolism is too powerful to ignore. Children left exposed while privilege protects itself is not just a bit of rain. It is a metaphor for an entire system that values appearances over people. What does this say about leadership? About compassion? About humanity? True leadership is not about smiling when it's convenient. It's about sacrifice, about instinctively protecting those who cannot protect themselves. True compassion is not staged for cameras. It is reflexive, immediate, selfless. And in this moment, Kate demonstrated none of those qualities. She revealed instead selfishness, coldness, and detachment. For many, this moment is the final straw. They see in it confirmation of everything they have long suspected, that the image of Kate as a caring, maternal figure is a fabrication, carefully polished by PR but unsupported by reality. They see proof that her instinct is to protect herself, not others. They see a woman so concerned with appearances that she cannot perform even the simplest act of kindness when the cameras are rolling. And they are rightfully outraged, because at the heart of this is not just optics, it is children. Real children with real feelings, standing in the cold rain while adults clung to comfort. The cruelty of that is hard to overstate. The indifference is impossible to justify, and the symbolism is unforgettable. Kate's selfishness, exposed by something as simple as rain and an umbrella, has become a symbol of everything wrong with the monarchy's carefully crafted image. It reveals a hollowness at the core, a detachment from humanity, a lack of instinctive kindness. And no amount of PR can wash that away. The rain has already done its work. It has stripped away the illusion and revealed the truth. This was not just a bad photo. It was a moment of exposure, literal and metaphorical, and it will haunt her. Because people do not forget when children are left out in the rain. They do not forgive indifference, and they will not, no matter how many staged smiles follow, forget the sight of Kate shielding herself while the children at her feet were left to drench. This is selfishness at its most devastatingly symbolic. This is privilege laid bare. This is the truth, exposed by rain. To all my curious Sussex family, thank you all for watching, and do not forget to subscribe, like, and put a comment. Bye-bye, see you then in our comment section.